Hi, on today's episode I'm going to show you how to make these flat stackers that can be used with the rainbow stackers and the semicircles that I have been talking about in prior videos. So again, here's our finished semicircles and a set of rainbow stackers. All three of these toys can be used with each other and many other toys that are out there. So stay tuned, subscribe if you haven't, and enjoy. My name's Casey, and this is Yeah Maker.
Welcome to Yeah Maker.
Alright, so first we're going to start out by making these slide stackers or ramp stackers, or I'm not sure what they're called yet, but they're just basically rectangles made out of the plywood. So we're just going to go through that process real quick. Let's go over to the table saw and get started. Alright, so over here I already have it set up to cut at 2 3/4 inches, which is the size of the rainbow stackers. So if I put that in there, it's a little bit large. The reason why I do that is when I round over the edge, I expect it to lose a little bit of material, so I want there to be a little bit extra. So, and I have this first strip here. I'm actually going to cut a second strip after this one. So let's go ahead and rip these down to the right size. Alright, now that I got my two pieces cut out, I'm going to go ahead and switch over and use my cross-cut sled and cut these to the right lengths. I'll show you how I'm going to do that here, because each piece needs to be the same size or match up to one of the rainbow stackers. And the reason for this is so that they will actually, the smaller, here, let me show you. So there's going to be one that matches up to this. Sure, see that? Okay. So there's going to be, goes right here, and when I turn that around, it needs to fit just barely inside of the next larger one. And the next piece will be the same as this one, but when I flip that around, it'll fit. So it just barely fits right into the next larger size. And then there'll be one at the very end that'll be larger than everything. So to do that, since this is one that's going to her, I'm going to take this, get my phone out of the way since I know I can see everything. I'm going to just use this little block as a stop block, okay? And it'll end up getting clamped there. I'm going to raise my saw blade up. I'm going to put in the sticks through. I'm going to move a couple boards. There we go. Try not to get slivers today. Okay. So I'm going to take this piece, stick it up here. So I'm going to move this forward actually. Stick that to there. I'm going to take my stop, slide it up to the edge. Bam. That's my first size. And I don't have enough room. Let's start with a larger size. So we'll do the largest one. So same thing. Let's take my piece, come over here, slide that up so it touches the blade, take my stop so it just barely touches the piece, clamp that down, no movement. And we'll cut right here. So here's the first one. And stop. And now I can do the smaller ones. I'm going to use up this wood. Should be okay. So it's just the same process over and over and over again. So I'm going to go ahead and do all these, and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, so now we have all of our corresponding pieces. So that one goes to there and will fit inside of here, just like that. So next thing we need to do is round over the edges, and I'm going to do that on the little tiny Dremel router table that I have for right now. And see you over there. Alright, here we are at my little Dremel table saw. Alright, here we are over at the Dremel router table. It's just the $25 thing I got from Amazon or whatever. What makes it special though is the bit that's on there. And let me see if I can get this out. So what it is, you see that all right? It's a flush trim, and it is a, I want to say either 1/8 or 5/16 or 3/16 round over bit. So all I'm doing using that is that's going to cut just a little round over on our plywood here. And when you do that, I usually use a scrap piece or something first, especially after I've taken the bit out and then put it back in, because I want to make sure that the bottom isn't cutting. I want to make sure the bottom isn't cutting into the bottom edge. I want to round it over, not cut it into it and make any kind of flange or anything like that. So let's do that. Here's our test piece. Get there. Kind of see it, or it just barely rounds over that edge, but it's enough that makes it so when you grab it, it doesn't bite into your hand. It doesn't give you that sharp edge. So now I'm going to do that on all of these, and we'll do it. I'll walk around one side, flip it over, whoops, and do the other side for all 12 pieces. Alright, so that's just the first one done. Too close and it won't focus, so I just rounded over the edge, so now I can grab that and actually squeeze it nice and tight. It doesn't hurt. Still have to worry about the corner pieces here. I could run that over here, but when I'm just sanding it down, I'll just sand those corners and those will be smooth. So let me finish the other 11. Alright, so now we got the 12 pieces routed. And we want to just give it a sand. We want to soften the edges and get rid of any blemishes that we find that are on any of these. I've only seen just a couple spots. One being that one. It's got the print right here, so it should come right off. And two, I'm looking like any rub marks, burn marks. So we got a couple burn marks. Take those off. That sides look good. But we do just want to soften those edges up. Couple ways we can do that. Sanding sponges work great for doing contours and whatnot because they wrap around your object. So to get in corners, works very well. Nice and smooth, really quick because it's already quick from being the routed or from the router bit. You can have different grits. That's fine. This is a coarse or a medium. You know, both of these were under $1 from the store. Another options you have, you could do a orbital sander with a, grab mine here real quick. Where is it? There it is. You could also try an orbital sander. And where this comes in, it's got the sponge, so it'll kind of reflex and bend a little bit for you. So we could try that. Also have sanding mops. These can go in like a drill press, or if you want to try and do it by hand, you can use a drill and you just run them around the edges and it'll smooth this out pretty good. This one's pretty well worn. As you can see, my inside's pretty off there on that one, but I have another one on my drill press, so I'm going to give that a try first and see how that comes out. For the flat surfaces though, I would use probably my orbital sander, or if I have to be really careful, just do it by hand. Remember, there is a thin veneer on these. This one's actually pretty decent because it is Baltic birch plywood, so do that. But you don't want to eat through too much of it because you'll start getting layers, good layers and whatnot. So, so we're going to start out sanding over on the door press with the orbital, or with the sand mop, so you can see what that is. And then we'll try the other methods, see what works the best. Alright, so here we are over the drill press. Camera does sit a little bit close, but we should still be able to see what's going on. So again, this is an 80 grit. I do most of the kids stuff in 80 grit unless it's for older kids. The reason why is you get too smooth and it just slides out of their hands, and they're flinging stuff around. You don't want it flying off and going and breaking your TV or anything fun like that. So all I'm going to do is turn this on. Get this wire out of the way. Get more out of the way. There we go. Alright, so I'm just turn that on. And mine spins this way, so I will be feeding it through this way. There's this one. So there's one side. Let me see if you can see that better. That. There. And we'll turn that, slide that over to the other end. And that. And that was the large one that had that green print on there. So that is gone. This piece is ready. You can see the corners are nice and clear. Nice and round. Aren't going to be poking any little's hands or anything like that. So move on to the next piece. I'll do one more of those and I'll show you the other options. I'm going to do a smaller one here. Nice, quick and easy. Go back over to the table here and go from there. Alright, so we got two done. Next option would be go with the orbital sander or any kind of power sander, to be honest. I don't know if I would go with a belt sander or anything like that. That'd be probably overkill, but it would work great for the flat surface. Whereas this one, it's a little bit more difficult to do big surfaces like this on an orbital sander, especially the smaller pieces like this. So this one, though, corners, I just walk it over each corner, go around there and just kind of lightly hit each side real quick, and then there we go. Speed wise, I'm going to turn this down to 3. So that one's done. Let's do a larger one. But do the same thing. Just take a little bit longer to do this, the flat sides is all. There you go. So 2 done. So next option, that's hand sanding. So I mentioned sponges to start off with, but there's plenty of other options out there. These are just some of the hand sanding options that I have. I like these ones because I can take slightly used discs from my orbital sander and use it on there, or I can use a brand new disc if I want to as well. Different sizes, different weights, and then again the foam brushes that way that it picks up the contouring. So for this one, next piece here, I'm going to use this yellow one for doing this here, and then I'm going to use the sponge for getting the edges and finishing the corners. Doing this on the corners just because it's a little bit easier. And another blemish that we'll need to get rid of. So that, and then we just see, and this is where I would probably, if I had it, and I do, I would switch to a power tool. Just to get through that, because can we get through it by hand? Of course. Do I want to spend the time doing it? For this video, yes, but normally not so much. See all that, and can still see it a little bit right there. Whereas if I did the power tool, and we'll just do orbital sander just so you can see. Now it's gone. And my motto is work smart, not hard. These, great, they have their purpose, but it's working hard. But other than that, like where it has those blemishes and stuff, it doesn't need a lot of sanding. I just want to make sure there's no sharp edges or anything like that. Put that over. Okay, so there's my flat edge. And I'll take that and just run it on the edges. Kind of go back over the corner a little bit. Edge, corner, edge, corner, left edge, and last corner. Might have been the first corner, but that I would say is done. But honestly, my favorite one for doing this kind of stuff is going to be the sanding mop. I can just get through these very quickly, and seeing as I do this for my store, these will be going on the store here soon, if not already by the time this video comes out. It's just my store right now is just on Etsy, and it's etsy.com/shop/shop the HH, I believe. I'll put the link in the description now for people that are interested. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish these off camera and show you them once we're all done. All right, so our pieces are all done here. They're all sanded and ready to go. I might dust them off here real quick, but these are actually for a customer, so she watches this, she got to see how they were made. So nice and easy, and thank you for your purchase. Yeah, just remember, if you're making these, you might get some plywood, if that's what you're using. If you're using like the Baltic Birch plywood or other plywood, it may be a little bit warped, a little bit bent, but as long as it's not super bad, you're not going to notice, or it's going to be very, very minimal notice, and it's still going to work for you. You don't have to have perfectly straight wood. Also remember, your corners, they're not going to be exactly the same every single time. And nice thing is, you saw this took 2 strips off of a 60-inch length piece of Baltic birch plywood, which out here where I go, that they come in 60 by 30 or 60 by 60 inch. So if you mess up on the first one, even if you got the half a sheet, you could probably make another 4 or 5 sets out of it. No problem. You're only using 2.5 inch or 2 3/4 inches plus the 1/8 inch for your saw blade to cut off. So, and for just to show how they work really quick, I'm not sure if you can see this bottom piece, but we can stack it, stack them. So you can do now. We got a ramp. I mean, let me see if we can see these. No, you can't. Here. So that's all they're doing. This is just one way to use them. You can use them as ramps. You can take them from other block sets and use them to go from piece to piece. But the goal is so they fit in the middle and they fit the sides and everything. So, all right. So there you go. That's how you make the flat stackers for use with the various different rainbow stackers that are out there. The semicircle stackers. Or stacking toys, whatever you want to call them. Which, if you're curious on what those are, set right here. So we've got semicircle stackers that also work with the rainbow stackers and everything. So, all right. Well, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and if you enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up for more like it. Have a wonderful day. Bye.